Hello YouTube. So today we're going to take a look at our first Java application. It's going to be a very simple Java application that just prints out a text to the user in the console. Okay, it's not going to be any fancy thing, but it's the basis for learning how to program. So let's just open our editor and then start from fresh. Alright, so like I said, we're going to use .java. If you don't have it already installed, follow my other tutorial and then have it up and running before you continue from here. Now, Java is a program application. Java application is an application that is embodied in a class. So every Java file or Java application that you will see is embodied in a class. Alright, and you declare every Java application as such. So to do that in Java, you just type the keyword class and then the name of the application. In this case, we're just gonna print out something that says hello world. So that's how we name our class. And then you enclose your class in an opening and closing braces like that. Okay, so this is a valid Java class. Now we can compile this class with no errors. Let's try it. If you hit on compile, well, we first have to save our application. So we're going to save it in this folder right here. We're saving all folders in the documents and then in the folder called Java tutorial. So let's save it first. Okay, so now after we save it, Dr. Java is going to compile it for us, and it's compiled successfully. What this tells us is that this class is a valid Java application. The fact that we didn't get any errors is a valid Java application. Let's just say I put some rubbish that doesn't make sense to Java in here. Now, and I try to compile, it says it found 2 errors were found. That's because this right here is not a valid keyword in Java. Okay, so let's delete that and recompile. I just did that to show you that this was a valid Java class. Now let's recompile, and the application compiled with no errors, meaning it's a valid Java application. Now it doesn't do anything. For it to do something, let's run it and see what happens. We got an error. It says current document is out of sync with oh, that's not the error we expect. Let's resave it. Okay, and recompile it and run it. Okay, this is the error I was expecting. Right, it said static error. This class does not have a static void main method accepting a string, an array of strings. Okay, what this simply means is that Java, the runtime environment, expects to find a method called main declared as such, and there should be only one of that method in any Java application. And anytime a Java application runs, the main method is the method that gets run first. So execution of any Java application starts from the method called main, and if Java doesn't find it, it's gonna complain. So this is what the error is saying. Okay, so let's fix that. So to declare a main method for Java to run your application, you just type public static void, and I'll explain all these keywords and concepts in different tutorials as we go on. So just go along with me, just go with the flow and you will get it later. So public static void main, just like the error is saying. It said it couldn't find a static void main method. So that's what we are declaring here, static void main. Okay. In most cases, some errors will not make that much sense or will not be specific as to where the error is coming from, in which case you have to dig your way out to find where the error is. But this is really simple to follow. So Every method is enclosed within opening and closing parentheses. And then if the method takes in a parameter, you pass in that type of parameter that you're planning on accepting. In this case, the main method accepts a string of arrays, just like it says over here. Okay, so we have to provide a string of arrays, and the way you do that is to put in the open and closing brackets, and then you have to give it a variable name. In this case, we call it args. That's how it has been used traditionally in almost every Java application that I've seen out there. Now you can call this anything you want. You can call it my args, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. That's what you call it, is what you refer to it if you are accepting command line application. Command line inputs. Okay, so we just call it args. And every Java main method, or every Java method, so to speak, is enclosed just like the class in an opening and closing braces, like that. Okay, so there is an opening and closing braces here that encapsulate the main method, and there is an opening and closing braces here that encapsulate the class itself. Alright, now when the application runs, it's going to look for the static void main method, or it's going to look for the main method, and once it finds it, it's going to do whatever follows. So what we want to do is just to print out something to the console, and the way you do that is to type in system.out.println, that means print line, and then the print line method takes in whatever you give it and then outputs it. Okay, so if you want it to output a string, you have to enclose the string in an open and closing codes like that. So in this case, we want to type hello world, and that's what will be printed when we save it, when it runs. And then we recompile because we have changed our application. It compiles successfully without any errors. Now we can run it and see what happens. And that's it. That's our first Java application. It prints out hello world. Okay. Now let me clear the interactive pane. Let me clear this one. And let me clear this side too. Okay. Now, after you compile in Dr. Java, after you compile your application, you can always come to the interactive pane and just type in Java and the name of the application. In this case, it's called Hello World, and it will run the same thing for you. Okay, so you can either run it from here by clicking on Run, or you can type it in yourself by typing Java and the name of your application without the extension. Alright, now we can also do the same thing. I'm gonna switch to a different session. We can do the same thing here. Okay, if you remember, we saved the files in my Java tutorial folder inside my documents. Okay, so you want to make sure that, let's see, alright, you want to make sure that you are in that folder. Okay, and then when I list it, I'm gonna see these files. We only wrote a .java file, but now we have a .class file. What happens is that anytime you compile your application, the Java compiler creates a .class file. This is the class, or this is the file that you can take to a different operating system that is Java enabled to be able to run the same application without having to expose your .java file. Alright, so if I'm writing this application on Linux, if I wanted to run the application on Windows, I could take only this and if that window operating system is Java enabled, I can just run the application on there, or Macintosh or whatever. Alright, so let me delete these and then show you how you can compile the same thing on the console. So I'm going to remove the class file which enables us to run the application, and then when I list it, you can see it's gone, it's no longer there. So to compile a Java application from the console, if you don't have an IDE to work with, you just type javac, which is the Java compiler. You give it the name of the file you want to compile with the .java extension, and you enter. Okay, now when I list, the class file has is recreated. Now to run the file, you can type in Java and then give it the name of the file you want to run without the extension. Okay, if you put in the extension, it's not going to work. Alright, now when you run, you get the same output, hello world. Now if I had done java.hello world.java, it would have given me this error. Okay, so that's not what we want. What we want is, instead of this, we want that. Alright, now in the next tutorial, I'm gonna explain everything that was in this file. Sorry about that. Everything that was in here, I'm gonna explain step by step what all these are about, and then we can take it from there and start writing, start learning the basics to enable us to write big applications. Alright, I'll see you in the next tutorial. Peace.